All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. If you are afraid of loneliness, don't marry. Without great solitude, no serious work is possible. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. Conversation enriches the understanding, but solitude is the school of genius. Solitude cherishes great virtues and destroys little ones. There are two kinds of loneliness, one that comes from ourselves, and one that comes from others. If you cannot live alone, you were born a slave. Solitude is fine, but you need someone to tell you that solitude is fine. Loneliness as a situation can be corrected, but as a state of mind, it is an incurable illness. Solitude vivifies. Isolation kills. Solitary trees, if they grow at all, grow strong. Great men are like eagles, and build their nest on some lofty solitude. The worst loneliness is to not be comfortable with yourself. Solitude desolates me. Company oppresses me. Solitude would be an ideal state if one were able to pick the people one avoids. As I shall lie in the grave alone, so in fact I live alone. Solitude is the mother of anxieties. What is necessary, after all, is only this: solitude, vast inner solitude, to walk inside yourself and meet no one for hours. That is what you must be able to attain, to be solitary as you were when you were a child. I hate who steals my solitude without really offering me in exchange company. Tears do not burn, except in solitude. Man's loneliness is but his fear of life. The neurotic always wishes people would let him alone. Until they do, I long for solitude, and yet I cannot stand it. It is better to be alone than in bad company. Which is worth more, a crowd of thousands, or your own genuine solitude? You know, what's so dreadful about dying is that you are completely on your own. If you are idle, be not solitary. If you are solitary, be not idle. You can forget who you are if you're alone too much. I don't recommend being a bachelor, but it helps if you want to write. Loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. People who do a job that claims to be creative have to be alone to recharge their batteries. You can't live 24 hours a day in the spotlight and remain creative. For people like me, solitude is a victory. Real loneliness is not necessarily limited to when you are alone. Writing is a fine thing, because it combines the two pleasures of talking to yourself and talking to a crowd. Writing is utter solitude, the descent into the cold abyss of oneself. The most terrible poverty is loneliness, and the feeling of being unloved. All great and precious things are lonely. To be an adult is to be alone. The more powerful and original a mind, the more it will incline towards the religion of solitude. All of our unhappiness comes from our inability to be alone. The worst suffering is in the loneliness that accompanies it. Dreams have only one owner at a time. That's why dreamers are lonely. The hermit believes he has found God because he has found loneliness. There is no loneliness like the loneliness of a dead marriage. Solitude is independence. As a body, everyone is single. As a soul, never. There's no greater misfortune than dying alone. I care for no man on earth, and no man on earth cares for me. We're born alone, we live alone, we die alone. Only through our love and friendship can we create the illusion for the moment that we're not alone.